got to watch the speed limit because there's a lot of Karens online who pull me up when I'm doing a little bit extra over and above what the street signs are saying, and fair enough. And those comments I will just delete, and I will learn my lesson and not speed. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Right, I know it's been a while, but let me tell you something. January was the longest year I've ever known. Honestly, it just seemed to go on and on and on, and everyone's broke after Christmas, and it's really is a especially here in the UK, it's I did a video last year about suffering with seasonal annual depression, SADS, and really struggled with January this year. And never mind the fact that it's pretty much rained every single day. It actually has. I actually saw on the news in parts of the UK, in any particular part of the UK, it's rained every single day this year so far. We've had a couple of dry days in our area, and today is just one of those days. I looked out the window and it was dry for the first time in days, and I thought, if I don't get out today, the weather on the weekend is looking like rain, so if I don't get out today, I'm not going to get out anytime soon. But yeah, anyways, guys, let's address the elephant in the room. This is my new to me 2019 Triumph Speed Twin, and yes guys, if you have been following my channel for a while, we've been down this road before. Yes, I know that. And before you start clicking on your keyboards and saying, Paul, you change bikes more than your underwear, and I do, let me explain. So prior to the Bonneville 865 that I had in my last video, now bearing in mind I haven't posted for a while, so it may seem short in YouTube terms, but actually in real life it's been a good 3 months I think since I bought the 865. But I had the black Triumph Speed Twin that I'd bought, and I don't want to go into too much detail. Let's just say that the transaction didn't quite work out the way I was hoping. The bike went back to the dealer and nothing was lost. But the dealer did have that Bonneville 865 in stock, and I said, you know what? Just so it's not, the relationship's not completely lost, I've always fancied that one. I had a look at it online, and I'd been looking at it before that I bought the Speed Twin, but I decided to go down the Speed Twin route. And needless to say, I bought the 865. Well, I swapped it for the 865 and some money back. So yeah, you live and learn. I'm not going to name the dealer because I don't think that'll be fair, because ultimately the transaction ended up okay in the end. But yeah, these things happen. These things happen when you're buying used bikes, and that's why if you buy from a dealer, at least you have some sort of comeback. But it does require a lot of arguing, a lot of emails, and a lot of complaining. Customer service in the bike world just doesn't seem to exist anymore. There seems to be the far and few between a few smaller bike shops that are absolutely fantastic, and Village Motorcycles, I'll happily call them out. Lloyd, who I bought this bike off, is absolutely fantastic. What a brilliant guy, and I traded in the 865. He gave me a really good deal. Let's jump off the bike and I'll give you a quick walk around. Come on, Paul, find neutral. There we go. So yeah, so she's a 2019, and she's absolutely mint for her age. 2019 Triumph Bonneville T100. See, I change two bikes too often, guys, and I don't even know what bike I'm riding. Triumph Speed Twin 1200, 2019 model. I actually had the same colour bike before, same similar mileage, so this has 15,000 miles on it, which does seem quite high, but actually isn't too bad. And judging by the amount of miles I'll do, I know it needs a really big service at 20,000 miles, but it had a service a few months ago, so I don't need to worry about it for now. And I'll probably only be looking at that 20,000 mile service probably next year at some point, so I'll save my pennies for that. So yeah, so she's pretty much stock. So what have I done? I've added on this Givi grab rail. I am going to put a top box on this. I've got my Givi 30 litre Dolomiti case, which will go on here, which I had on my previous bikes. She's a little bit dirty, but one of the big things this bike has that none of my other Speed Twins have had is it's been decatted, and I didn't have to do it, which is absolutely fantastic, because God knows, if you ever watched Van Blam's channel and you saw when he did the decats on his bike, if you've ever watched and see the level of effort that goes through, and I'm probably about as mechanically minded as he is, it's something I never wanted to do on my previous bikes, but the fact that it's been done, fantastic. Another thing that's on this bike is actually these exhaust mufflers are off a Thruxton 1200, which again, I don't think it makes much difference to the sound. I think the D-Cats is the biggest impact there, but I think it looks quite nice without the black exhaust. I never minded the black exhaust, but I actually quite like the fact that it goes all the way through like that. I was going to look at getting the Hitchcock drag pipes on here, but now with the D-Cat, I think it just might be a little bit too loud. Another thing I've done is I've got the risers. I've done that on every Speed Twin. Just for me, it just pulls it back a bit. I've got short arms. I'm not particularly tall, so it pulls it back. These ones were actually on the Scrambler I bought, which I took off because it didn't need it. So they're a bit discoloured. So I'm going to change them, and Tech Bike Parts do some for like £20. They're not super expensive, but it does just add a little bit more to the comfort. So you're not just a little bit too far forward. Hope that's coming through on the mic and the helmet. I'll tell you what, the D-Cat, and what I don't know is, did this bike ever get retuned? I'm not sure. But the D-Cat makes such a difference, honestly. I can feel the difference, and I haven't ridden the another Speed Twin for a while now, but I can already tell. It's just a lot more responsive. It just sounds a lot better. So I think I'll just leave the exhausts the way they are. Oh. So guys, yeah, why did I get rid of the 865? God, here we go. I'm gonna get the comments now. Okay, so love the 865, but I do use my bike for the odd commute, and coming up to summer I will commute into London a lot more on it, and it's about a 60-mile round trip. Requires a lot of filtering here in the UK, so obviously lane splitting if you're watching this in the States. And what I was finding is sometimes I like to ride a little bit spiritedly, and the Bonneville 865 didn't have ABS. Now yes, there's going to be loads of comments, learn to ride the bike properly, etc, etc, and I do. I generally ride quite safely. I don't bomb into corners too much, but I did find, particularly in the wet, I was skidding the back wheel a bit too many times, as I was just obviously, especially on roads like this, and I really miss the ABS. Just having that safety net behind you, so that obviously I didn't sell the bike just because of ABS. The bike was lovely, but I missed the modern feel of the Speed Twin, and I forgot what it's like owning an older bike. I mean, the bike was perfect, it was in good condition, it had 11,500 miles, it was due a valve clearance check, which is quite expensive. So in the end I decided to cut my losses and just go back to the Speed Twin. When this black Speed Twin transaction fell through, what I should have done is walked away and had a look for another Speed Twin. But I didn't want to be bikeless, and I got caught up in the moment, and I saw the 865 and I was like, no, I'll have that. I've had one before, I absolutely love them, and they are brilliant bikes. Just not my type of bike. Do I need a 1200cc? No, as we know, I had a GB 350 before. I don't necessarily need all the power. I actually had more fun on the GB 350 than I often had on the Speed Twin. But we're going into summer now, the roads are drying up. Oh, and this 1200cc engine is just insane. Oh, yeah. So guys, this is the my 2019 Triumph Speed Twin. Tell me what you think. So yeah, it's got 15,000 miles, which in the bike world sounds like a lot, but actually it's not. If a bike has a full service history, which this does, it had 4 previous owners to be fair, but service history's been kept up. So if the bike's been looked after, it's in absolutely fantastic condition. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. This bike suffers from, which I didn't realise, and I never noticed on my previous Speed Twins, it suffers from a leak coming from the regulator rectifier. Insert picture here. And apparently this is quite a common issue on these bikes, not just this bike, but also on the bobber. So obviously this bike's still under 3-month warranty from the seller, who's a small independent shop. But I don't think I'm going to bother to go back because, I mean, he might try and fix it. But what Triumph would do is change the whole, what's it called? The round thingy-majiggy that goes in the right-hand side of the engine. I'll stick it up on the, I can't remember what it's called, rectifier, I think it's called, or something like that, or regulator or something like that. No, the regulator's down the bottom. Anyways, what it does is basically it's a faulty part from stock, and the oil leaks up the pipe and bleeds out of the cables that run to the regulator, which is then right under the bike, and because of gravity, it seeps oil. It's very slow. But any oil that's leaking at the bottom close to your back tire is something to worry about. So what I've been doing is just wiping it away off the garage floor. I noticed it a week ago, looked everywhere under the bike, could not find it, went online, and eventually somebody said it was by the regulator. I went and checked, and sure enough, the regulator plug had oil all over it. It's a very slow leak. Some guys say they just clean it off. Other guys, there is a fix online. So if you have a similar issue, there is a video online. I'll stick it up. Actually, I'll stick the link in the description of how to fix it. It's a bit of a bodge job. You basically just seal the cables with some sealant, and then basically stop the oil leaking out. Triumph will just replace the parts, but to replace that part, you're looking at probably about £1,000 with the parts and labour. It's a bit of an intensive job, and I'm not saying I'm willing to do myself now. I had two options. I either complain to the guy who sold me the bike and say, no, you know what, take it back, or you fix it, or I just try and do the simple fix myself, which I will just do. It doesn't look too difficult, and if it still leaks after that, then maybe I'll go back. I've got a couple months to do that. So yeah, so that's just a short update video, guys. A boring old motovlog, as they call it. But yeah, I'm still around. The weather's been absolutely shocking, and I don't want to just go and riding out in terrible weather for the sake of getting videos out. I'd rather not do that. So yeah, I thought I'd just keep you guys updated, introduce the new bike, and who knows, in a couple of months there might be another bike, who knows. No, I'm sticking to one bike, but whether I decide to change it or not, who knows. I'd like to say she's a keeper, but I don't trust myself enough to say that. Anyway, guys, I'm stuck behind a maintenance van now, so I'm going to have to overtake, and then somebody in the comments is going to be like, oh, that's illegal, you couldn't overtake like that. So I'm going to end the video here, and see you guys on the next one. Cheers, guys, have a good one. Here's to spring is around the corner.